What is Cafe Mocha? Experts, celebrities.
Hey, this is John Legend.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
I am Ian Levinson.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Tamir Braxton.
Music and features from a woman's perspective. Intriguing conversation. The Swag Award. Espresso. The MC Lyte Mix. Radio from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Cafe Mocha.
This is Cafe Mocha. I am MC Lyte.
I'm Loni Love.
I'm Angelique. Michael Brown, Eric Garner, Tamir Rice. Just a few people have made headlines over, I guess, since the death of Trayvon Martin.
Mm-hmm. And we're about to have a serious discussion with Trayvon's mother, Sabrina Fulton.
And you know, we really need to have discussions like this because we need to understand what can we do as a community. Is it protests? Is it boycotts? Is it lobbying? What is it? So please, this is a very important Cafe Mocha. If you haven't listened, today is the time to listen. And call somebody and tell them to also listen. We'll be right back.
It's Cafe Mocha. I am MC Lyte.
I'm Loni Love.
I'm Angelique, and it is a very powerful moment. I just feel the room getting choked up. On the line, we have Trayvon Martin's mom, Sabrina Fulton. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your son. Thank you for your son, and we are so sorry for your loss.
Thank you for your time. And, you know, I have to ask in this moment, how are you getting through?
I use 3 basic principles, and that's my faith, my family, and my friends. Mm-hmm. And I surrounded myself with strong people that will lift me up and not break me down even further than I was. Mm-hmm. I wasn't always as strong as I am now. I mean, there were times when I just wanted to cry and do nothing. But then when I opened my hand, I had nothing in my hand but tears, and I said, I can do more than this for my son. I can do better than this for my son. And that's why I started speaking, and I started being the voice for the voiceless, and I started just doing some things to bring awareness because I felt like I could be doing more. And so that's what I did.
The Trayvon Martin Foundation.org. Tell us about that, Miss Sabrina.
Well, that was created because we were so disappointed, not only with the verdict, but just how the case was handled. And so we created the Trayvon Martin Foundation. We didn't do a real push to get the foundation up and running until after the verdict because we wanted to make sure that we set the tone for Trayvon Martin and not anyone else. And so what we do with the Trayvon Martin Foundation, every year in February, we celebrate his birth and not his death. Mainstream media like to celebrate the death of a person, but we like to celebrate the birth of Trayvon. And so we do what we call as a peace walk at the beginning of February around his birthday. We do a peace walk where we walk a short distance in memory of him just to let our young people know, to let the community know you have a right to walk in peace without being followed, chased, pursued, or murdered. Mm-hmm. And then we have a peace talk where we have like entertainment with a purpose, and we have different motivational young folks to come out and speak and everything, and they do maybe a dance or something like that, or tell a poem or something, and then we have the law enforcement to come out to try to bridge that gap between our young people and law enforcement. We have back to school events, we have scholarship programs. I mean, we keeping ourselves pretty busy through the foundation where we are able to get the word out. We're able to get the message out about racial profiling, about the stand your ground laws and different things like that, and really just trying to uplift people and make them aware of what's going on.
We are talking to Sabrina Fulton, Trayvon Martin's mother. It's TrayvonMartinFoundation.org. More coming up.
One day.
Cafe Mocha, I'm Angelique, along with MC Lyte and Loni Love. Another case of a black man senselessly murdered by police officers. That's kind of the topic this week, the violence, the lack of justice available to black men, and just the reminder that Black Lives Matter too. On the line is Sabrina Fulton, the mother of Trayvon Martin.
Miss Sabrina, I want to ask you a question. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but what is your feeling about George Zimmerman right now?
a lot of people ask me that question, and my answer is they basically ask about forgiveness. And I'm not a religious person, but I am a spiritual person, and I know that I will have to forgive at some point. I will have to forgive. I have not reached that point now. As of yet, I have not reached that point.
So the Trayvon Martin Foundation.org. We need everybody to go in. You guys, please, because I'm assuming that you're taking donations to help keep the foundation up.
Yes, absolutely. People are able to donate. You can donate to a specific program that we have. You can donate, and I'm not trying to push for the Circle of Mothers, but that is my baby.
Yes. Well, go ahead and push for the Circle of Mothers. That's right.
Yeah, and so, I had a Phoenix Shakur came out last year as my keynote speaker. I had Lisa Nichols. She was our life coach. She was the one that was responsible for us laughing and crying and supporting each other and just helping us move to the, in a positive direction.
Right.
Because this can break you down or it can strengthen you. And so you have to be the judge of that, and you have to decide what you want to do with your life. And so I decided that I'm not going to let this drag me down, because I have another son, Javaris Fulton. He's 24 years old, just graduated from college. He has a bachelor's degree in IT. And so I have to live for myself. I have to live for my son. And so I have to keep moving on. I have to do what I can for my son that's in heaven, and I have to do what I can for my son that's here on earth. But I certainly could add my part to other people's children, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, we are so proud of you. I want to tell you just how proud we are. When I see you on TV, I know you're going to represent well, and you've been an encouragement. And I want you to know that on behalf of Cafe Mocha, you call us anytime, and we will put it on the website. We will keep you in our thoughts and our prayers. But thank you so much for this time and this wonderful interview.
Thank you so much. And it's sisters like you guys that help strengthen me. Trust me, they think, that we can't make educated choices and speak intelligently, but we can. And so, and whenever I see you guys on speaking on different issues, I'm also proud of you as well. So I thank God for you, and keep supporting me, and I'll keep supporting you.
Amen. Right. Thank you very much, Miss Fulton.
You take care.
You and me.
It's Cafe Mocha. I'm MC Lyte.
I'm Loni Love.
I'm Angelique. Black Lives Matter 2 is what we're calling the show, and we're, delving into some serious topics here. On the line, we have Annette Nance Holt. PurposeOverPain.org is the website. Hi, Annette. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Now, will you share for us the story of how you lost your son?
Sure. May 10th, 2007, right around Mother's Day, dropped Blair off at school that morning and told him to do good, love him, and we was going to have a heart-to-heart talk about his plans for college. He went to Percy L. Julian High School, and that day he was going to catch the bus to my parents' store. They had a small neighborhood grocery store in Roseland. And I had to go to a play, The Color Purple, with some of my sorority sisters. And he's like, Ma, I could take the bus. We really never let him take the bus. But that particular day, he said he wanted to, and it was fine. So I let him. And I get a call. I get home about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock from an appointment, and I'm sitting at his computer. His dad calls me and asks me, what's my fire department badge? And I'm like, why? He's like, well, Blair wants to surprise you with a replica of your badge. And so I told him. Well, shortly after that, about 15 minutes later, his cousin calls me and says he's heard Blair's been shot. And I'm like, who is this? And he's like, I heard he's shot. I'm like, no, he couldn't be. He's going to be going to my parents' store. So, I got on the phone, started calling firehouses. I called some friends. I called his dad. So I decided to get in the car because some of my the firehouses around the hospital, they were like, don't worry, Cap, because at that time as a captain, they were like, it's okay, nothing's happened around here. And something in my heart said that something's wrong. So I just jumped in my car, went to the first hospital, and of course, kids did get shot. It was 5 young people, but they said Blair wasn't there. They took him to Christ. And that's when my heart sunk, because if he went to Christ, Christ is a trauma center, and it was bad. So I drove to Christ, was blowing lights. Don't even know how I got there. It was by God's grace. And I go in, they take me up to the floor, and then shortly after that, friends, family, grammar school, high school, his dad is a cop. the fire department, the chaplains, our pastor, Father Flager, everybody was there. And, they worked on him, and they told us he didn't make it. And, I mean, that was like earth-shattering, such a good kid. And you just don't expect that.
How old was Blair?
Blair was only 16. He would have made 17 on June 1st, and he was looking forward to his birthday.
What do you think, in your opinion, the solution to gun violence is?
One is parents being parents again. I think if you have a child, you should really be responsible for nurturing and loving your child, because your child is definitely a gift. That's just one thing. The second thing, I think, is a good education. By us not having good schools in our communities with different things that kids can go into, like vocational trades, it makes a difference, because every kid is not a book kid. Right. So we have to have options for our children that keep them engaged and involved in education, because that's the only way out of this. And the third thing is keeping these guns out of our communities. In my opinion, do Black lives really matter if we're letting guns flood our market, flood our neighborhoods, along with drugs and gangs?
Annette Nance Holt, the organization is purposeoverpain.org. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Oh, thank you, ladies. I appreciate you getting the word out.
Absolutely.
We send you love.
It's Cafe Mocha. Coming up this hour, she's been a White House correspondent since 1997.
A long time.
She got all inside dirt on everybody.
She is the author of The Presidency in Black and White.
April Ryan on the way.
Shorty and die.
It's Cafe Mocha. I am MC Lyte.
I'm Loni Love.
I'm Angelique. It's been a very serious show. And on the line, we have April Ryan. She's a White House correspondent for many, many years. April, we've been talking about race relations. We've been talking about gun violence and that sort of things that are serious in the Black community. As someone that's been in the White House there working with those folks, what has been the White House's approach to the killing, this rash of killings of unarmed Black men and boys?
Well, this White House, has taken a very serious approach and looked at it in a holistic manner. This White House started out with, within the last year, they created My Brother's Keeper, and it was an outgrowth of the Trayvon Martin death. And the issue is the fact that young African-American males, young Hispanic males are of concern because many of them are at risk. And this White House is really trying to change that dynamic and trying to work on criminal justice issues as well to help with the survival rates of young minorities.
In your opinion, April, what's the answer to some of this that's happening? Is it as a community, the protests, the boycotts? What is the answer?
That's so interesting. And I've been doing a couple of speeches the last couple of weeks with the new book that I have, The Presidency in Black and White. And the crazy thing about it is, while I'm doing these speeches, it just comes up, the old blueprint. And particularly during Selma, I kept thinking about the old blueprint. And when I say the old blueprint, the blueprint that the civil rights leaders, the most successful movement in this country, the civil rights movement, they were able to move the ball forward with the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, and yet we have walked away from the blueprint. Everybody else is using the blueprint that the civil rights movement used. And I'm saying this as a reporter watching Latinos and Hispanics come and talk about immigration reform en masse, pushing their issue and making their voices heard. Right. As we watch the LGBT community making their voices heard, using that same blueprint and getting their rights. I mean, they're starting to really see, more equality in many venues that were closed to them. Then you have women's issues. The women's groups have been using the civil rights blueprint, but we have yet to go back to our old blueprint that's still new. So I think that, and this is just from watching every day and reporting for the last 18 years, 3 presidents, I've seen people come and push, and I've seen them back off. I don't know why they back off, but it takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, a lot of time, and a lot of effort to keep pushing. And I find in Washington, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and it doesn't. If you continue to squeak, they don't want to hear you.
We've got more up with April Ryan. She's a White House correspondent and author of The Presidency in Black and White.
Yes.
What's being talked about on the street, online, and sister to sister? It's Did Y'all See? On Cafe Mocha.
So, did y'all see that the First Lady, Michelle Obama, was at Black Girls Rock last weekend? And white people are in their feelings about her appearance being there. So, what do you think about that?
White people need to cut it out. White people have been celebrated since the beginning of time. I'm gonna need them to chill out and let Black girls rock and get out their feelings.
Exactly. That's it. She's a black girl and she rocks. That's it. That's our perspective. For more Did Y'all See, be sure to log on to MadameNoir.com.
That was Did Y'all See with the ladies of Madame Noir on Cafe Mocha. For more, check out CafeMochaRadio.com.
We are talking to April Ryan, White House correspondent and author of the new book, The Presidency in Black and White. Can you tell us about this new book now, Miss Ryan?
So the book is come together after doing a lot of journaling over 18 years. So what happened was I just journaled, wrote down dates and times and experiences, impacting times, and we compiled the book, and it is really done something. And I find the book kind of interesting, and not just saying that because I'm the author, but when you have people like this President of the United States, President Obama, former President Bill Clinton, going on the record for you on issues of race, that's amazing. Then you have former First Lady Laura Bush, Condi Rice, Colin Powell, Bishop T.D. Jakes, and so many others on the record for this book on race. It's telling you that issues of race are really something that people wanted to talk about, and they just weren't putting it out.
You know, I really have to commend you for writing this because I feel bad. Starbucks, they tried to have a little initiative where, the baristas would write race together and talk about race. It ain't last week.
And let me say this. I commend them for trying to start a conversation. But you know what? What I think Starbucks should do, and not back off of it, maybe open up some of their big their big coffee shops, the bigger coffee shops, and have conversations. Open it up, have a night of conversation with some leaders who can help create a civil dialogue, because race is a very passionate issue.
Right.
We're very hypersensitive about it. Or maybe they can fund some major media outlet to have a big conversation on race. So I think Starbucks is going down the right line of trying to talk about it. Maybe not the way they were trying to do it, but I think they can channel it in another way.
Right. I'm like, can you fix my cafe latte the right way? We start talking about
cider spice.
It's like, get the right people to talk about it. I don't know about my barista. That one in Compton, I don't know.
I don't know no white people.
We be there all night talking.
April Ryan, author of The Presidency in Black and White. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And
I just want to say one more thing about April Ryan. I think, for her to be working in the White House for 18 years, it's very commendable. She has represented us very well, especially for, females. And it's just that, we hear all these other names, but I always see her asking great questions, and she's doing big things. So please support April Ryan.
Yes, and congratulations on the book. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, April. It's a Cafe Mocha Espresso. Black lives matter too, but apparently not in North Charleston, where Walter Scott was shot multiple times in the back over a broken taillight.
This was a cop who felt like he could get away with just shooting someone that many times in the back. And you can see from the video, his shirt was still tucked in. He didn't look like he had been through too much, and he just casually shot a man in the back that many times. And it speaks to the value of human life.
On a lighter note, Single Ladies is back, and LaToya Luckett talks about being a real live single lady.
I don't really like to date. I'm to myself. I can be very picky, but at the same time, I'm very patient with, waiting on God. But you know what? I just want a good man that respects me, appreciates me, God-fearing.
Yeah. And Hollywood just found out that Minorities spend plenty of money at the box office. Furious 7 is set to be Universal Studios' first ever billion-dollar movie. And 75% of the people that went to see it were minorities. That's the Espresso. I'm Angelique.
This is Cafe Mocha. Radio from a woman's perspective.
Bring that back. It's Cafe Mocha. I am MC Lyte, and this is the Lyte Mix. 10 minutes where we take you and just throw you on back into time. Hope you enjoy it. Angelique and Loni Love on standby. Just keep it locked. It's more Cafe Mocha happening right here for you and yours.
It's Cafe Mocha. That was the MC Lyte mix.
Yeah.
Girl.
Wrapping the show up. Very important topic. I'm going to try to make sure the long version of all of these interviews are available at cafemocharadio.com.
Great.
Because I feel like people need the support. They need to hear some of this stuff.
Right.
And hopefully we'll all go out and make a difference and do what we can.
Excellent. That was very courageous of Annette to share her story. I mean, you know, time and time again, right?
And, you know, it's all good. So we always have to keep supporting each other because, you know what? Black lives matter.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. See you next time. Cafe Mocha.
Cafe Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Westwood One. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. Writer and producer Angelique Perrin. For comments, booking, and more information, visit cafemocharadio.com.